You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Power mi gente, my Comic Crusaders, mi familia, what is poppin'? It's your boy Al Mega back on the scene right here. All right, and listen, we got something going on today, bro, because we have a legend in the building, baby. And I ain't talking rumors, I'm talking the one and only interstellar imagination engine, all right? He is the mastermind behind Dr. Grordbort, the concept wizard from the Weta Workshop, and now the cosmic conductor of the brand new Mad Cave masterpiece, One Path. That's right, man. We have an amazing artist here, so strap in, fam, all right? We're going to be blasting through galaxies of great tech and storytelling glory. You're about to learn what it takes to build worlds, create icons, and drop videos so tight they warp your reality. This ain't your grandma's comic book chat, baby. This is the Comic Crusaders podcast, baby. And we got the one and only Mr. Greg Broadmore. What's poppin', Bill? How are you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, that is, as always, dude, incredible intro. Your energy is wild. I love it.
Well, I mean, man, New York, Puerto Rico. I mean, I'm coming off San Diego. The Concorde is gone, and Al Mega is back, baby. Let me say, that Concorde shit is real. Whew, Diablo. But I'm feeling great today, man. It's also Friday, so let's get it going, Greg. Let's get it going. So before we dive into One Path, give us the origin story, of course, that radioactive comic that bit you and made you the powerhouse you are right now.
Well, so what was the question of that? I go, wait, how did I get bit?
Yeah, how did you get bit by the creative comic book bug?
That's a good question, man. It's just always been in me. I don't think I ever thought any other way. I just love creating stuff. I know, I'll tell you a little bit of my backstory. I come from a little town. I think I told you the name last time, probably to raise a smile for your American audience. Whakatane, that's where I'm from. And sorry about that. But it's a
nice
place.
town, YouTube. It's a town, I promise.
It's got a good story behind the name too. Anyway,
I can imagine. Hopefully, it's not.
But it's a primordial place, man. It's the bush around. Out on the horizon is a volcano. Like literally within eyesight is a volcano poking out of the ocean, belching out smoke into the sky every day, right? And behind my home was forests and bush. Right. And so it's just an imaginative place, man. When me and my friends wanted to go explore, we would wander out the back of our home and just go into the bush. Right. So it sort of felt like, and New Zealand's also famous for its birds. Right. There's so it's just a place of dinosaurs. So and on top of that, I'm asthmatic. I'm not so bad anymore, but even when I was young, I was brutally asthmatic. Like I was in the hospital all the time. And so I'm not the kid running around getting into sport. I'm like my granddad would sit me down with reams of cardboard and crayons, and so I would just sit there drawing these huge scenes, and almost all the scenes were World War II inspired, but then dinosaurs and UFOs and robots made their way into them as well. So these giant battle scenes with Nazis fighting the Allies, with dinosaurs coming in and giant robots, and nothing's kind of changed. I've lived in that world ever since.
Yeah, but we all remain big kids, man. And you're killing me here because when you talk about me and the guys going into the bush in the States, it doesn't quite mean the same thing.
No, true. We call it the bush here, but it's forest for you guys.
All right, thank you. Oh, what we were talking about?
So bush is making a comeback, I hear.
Hey, bro, it's all right, man. Everything old school is coming back, baby. So I ain't got a problem with it, man. Just keep it fresh. Now, tell us about One Path. What's the vibe, man? Is it sci-fi, noir, post-apocalyptic opera? Lay it on us.
Yeah, good. So, I think when we first talked, it was just about yet to come out, and now it's finally released. There's the book for anyone who wants to.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Let me put that on screen. Yeah, because you were just teasing me before. You were being a stripper, minus the pole, and here we go. Now we got
there it goes. I'll open some pages just to show people what it's like, but I'll try and find ones that are appropriate. Well, this is kind of appropriate, but
oh man, look at that. Hey, I got some pages to show off too, but look at that coloring on, when you see it on the paper itself, beyond the digital, baby. Yo,
So
Wow.
it's man.
My gosh. My
Trying to
God.
show it without the glare, hopefully. Tell me if you can see
Andre,
that.
I don't see any glare, man.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
just
That's
saying
good.
that's it. That's it.
Oh, you're going off. There we
Sorry.
go.
There you go. Wow, that's beautiful, bro. Look at that.
Yeah. So
Bro.
One Path. So it's the first book. And One Path is, as you can see from the art, set in a kind of prehistoric world. Like, look how I was talking about where I grew up and where my imagination was sparked by. But it's set in a prehistoric world. I don't know. I won't share too many details about what it actually is because I think that's for you to read. But I don't know if it's actually technically Earth. It might be an alternate reality because, of course, dinosaurs are living alongside people in this world, and that didn't happen in our reality. We're separated by, tens of millions of years. But they do in this world, but it's much more. It's almost a fantasy world, or in a way, because there's a totally different reality happening for these women. These women live in a tribe where not many escape childhood, not many make it to adulthood at all. In fact, most of them are dying probably in their teens, in their 20s, or that's where they're topping out. If you're old in this world, you're 23 or 4. As was the case for our ancestors like that.
Shit.
They live under the thumb of nature. The dinosaurs are basically trying to end them at every opportunity, and they pay a toll to the big bosses in the neighborhood, which are the T-Rexes.
So, what basically you're saying here is that the dinosaurs are actually, they consider us the top of the food chain, right? We're the alphas, but in this world, it truly is the dinosaurs.
Yeah, we now, right, are in a place where we've put ourselves on the top of the pyramid after hundreds of thousands of years of work, right? Although some of us are trying to dismantle that. But in this world, that's where we started, right? Where we're under the thumb of nature. And the story is really about these people holding on to survival. And obviously it's a strange world because it's only women in this first story, although that's not where it ends up. There's only women, so they have a strange way of reproducing, and so everything about
that's exactly about to ask, bro. I mean, you're talking about only women, but they die in their 20s. Like, okay, so
where do they come from?
What
That's kind
type
of what the story ends up being
on
about.
Here, bro? Listen? I think you dreamed of what alien sex may actually be like, huh? Is that
it? Something like that. You'll have to read the story, and the first book only sort of hints at the machinations of the world, like how it all works and where they all come from. But there is kind of a machinery to this world and a logic to this world, and you get to discover a lot of that in the first book. Although the first book really is about the story of One Path and her quest, if you like, to change their reality. Like I say, they're under the thumb of nature. The T-Rexes take their toll. They are just barely hanging on, and she comes up with a plan to turn that on its head, to take control back, to try and dominate the local T-Rexes, who I say are like metaphorically, they're like mob bosses that are coming to take their toll. Well, she has a plan to turn it around, but they live in a delicate balance with nature, right, and with reality, and so it doesn't take much to upset the very simple and straightforward rules that they've got that hold their desperate society together. And so while what she does changes everything for them, it changes things in good ways and bad ways. So everything kind of starts to unravel. That's the start of the story.
All right, but I mean, you're talking about this. You already teased us, but let's put it on screen so people could enjoy it. Talk about the inspiration of this cover, because when I see this, to be honest, I'm thinking of that cartoon, from my man that created Samurai, that Primal. When I see that, so right now, this cover just sells me on that. Like, okay, give me.
Well, I should watch Primal. I haven't seen Primal.
You have not watched Primal? Oh my effing God, bro! They're already teasing me that there's a possibility that they might make a new season. Cool. Talking about what transpired after.
I was working on this book since I started in COVID. I actually had the idea for Cave Girls. The book was originally called Cave Girls, by the way, and the French version is called Cave Girls. I had the idea going back about 15 years or so or something. I published a bunch of stuff then. So the idea's been in my head for all this time. But then when I started sharing images of when I was before I'd made the first book and I was just doing concept art, people were telling me, hey, have you seen this thing Primal? And I had a quick Google, saw it and thought, okay. And I love Gendy Tartakovsky. That's the name of the creator. His work is unbelievable.
I can't say that last name for my life.
Yeah, but I deliberately chose to avoid it because I thought, okay, that's kind of similar. It's in the same realm as what I'm doing, so I'm not going to pay any attention. So I'm not inspired by that, but I'm actually not inspired by directly by a lot of stuff. The way I try to illustrate and create is the inspirations might be a bit more esoteric and a bit more random if I was to try and unravel them all, and I'd probably need a lot more whiskey in my cup to unravel all of those. But inspiration for the.
Wait a minute. Before you go on, you telling me you weren't even on whiskey when you did this? I mean, if you're gonna be on whiskey, that's gonna be madness, bro. You're gonna get a Nobel Peace Prize for the craziest book on the planet, bro.
Alcohol did help the creation of this book. I can't actually tell you that's true.
No, bro. With these type of ideas, a planet like this, bro. Listen, please, folks. I know we're not encouraging alcoholic drinking, but we're just saying though, sometimes, man, when you're amongst creators and you have a drink in your man, the shit that y'all come up with, man.
All things in moderation. Yeah, man. Yeah, but I can tell you, like, maybe you want to talk about this, maybe you don't. But I actually think it's kind of interesting. Like alcohol, like you say, it's got a bad rap at the moment. People talk shit about it. But it's like this socially binding thing, man. I love it. If you let it take a hold of your life, like anything, you're going to end up in trouble. And a lot of people do, and that's where it goes wrong. But for me, it's been great. I love it, and I tell you what alcohol as a drug is good for is it represses inhibitions, right? Simply. So in art and creation and just about anything where you're trying to come up with ideas, there's a million forks in the road, right? You could go anywhere. You go this way, you go that way. And what a lot of people do when they hit a wall, and I can speak for myself, when you're making art, you're writing, you can overthink things, right? Should I do a little bit of this? Should I do that? Should I approach it from this angle? What alcohol does, man, always is reduce your inhibitions. It makes you go with your first choice, your gut choice, right? And what is making art about? It's about getting into a flow state. And getting into a flow state is about going with your choices and just rolling with them. Yes, and right. I'm taking this step, and then I'm taking this step, and then I'm taking this step. And a lot of procrastination in art for people is like, don't want to take that first step, or I took the first step, but like I step back, and and people get held there. They get trapped. They can't make the next thing. They never produce their work because something is holding them back, and it's the overthinking. Well, I'm here to tell you, I have a wonder drug that has just been released. The elixir. I call it a beer.
A couple of those. It's true though. It relaxes you. It relaxes you. You stop over. I always tell people that overthinking is actually your biggest effing enemy.
But alcohol is one of those things, man. For some people, it works, like me, for my metabolism, right? And for other people, it ruins them. And so, like, you just got to try it, find out.
I think I'm on your lane.
Don't go near it.
I believe I'm more on your lane, where I'm not abusive of it, but it does help me loosen me up to have some fun. But I don't need it. You know what I mean? I live, I do my job, and I'm fine. But if I go out on the social scene, I'm the party boy amongst my business partner, because my man, shout out Keith, he's the straight edge guy, literally straight edge.
Oh yeah.
But again, I follow the rules of the streets and the mob. Like, if you're not holding a drink in your hand, I don't think I could trust you.
Dude, I tried being straight edge when I was young because I didn't even know about the idea, right? When I grew up, everyone drunk when they hit their early teens. It's like that's just what you did. And but then I got into Minor Threat. You know the punk band Minor Threat?
Yes, I do.
Actually, right. And that's where I learned the term straight edge. And so I was so into that band that I was like, oh, straight edge must be the right idea. But I tried that for like 2 weeks and it didn't work for me.
It ain't for everybody, but it's all good. God bless those that can, and that's what it is. But with that though, talk about the themes of the book. Let's get back to this beautiful looking book, man, because this it's a fire looking baby. Let's hold up. Can my thing want to decide to work? There we go, baby. All right, so Man Cave, man, bring in this business. Look at this coloring. Look at this. Look at the size of this beast as compared to these trees. I mean, in your imagination, my brother, how huge is this beast? And like, is this really in your backyard, bro? Like, what the hell, bro? And this looks amazing. Did you do every single aspect of this page right here? What's going on?
So the way I work, artistically, creatively, is I do them in pencil, right? I get a big A3 sheet of paper that's like it's quite a large piece of sheet of paper, and I draw them in pencil with like a really soft pencil, and that keeps things sort of loose, and it gets the detail out. So I block out the pages. But my pencils, like in traditional comics, pencils are like this very calculated thing, right? Because you're plotting out where the inker is going to put the lights and darks, right? And I think for most letterers, for most pencilers, I know it's a very precise thing. For me, it's very loose. It can be tight sometimes, and other times it's very loose. Because what I do from there is I used to just paint them with acrylic paint. But since I started working at Weta Workshop 20 odd years ago, I discovered Photoshop. And then I'm like, well, I just replicated my paint technique in Photoshop. So I scan them into Photoshop or take a photo of them. And the rest happens there. And it's and actually that's most of the work. It's not, I don't think of it as coloring. I think of it as painting. The pencils are like this formative sketch. And if you were to see the pencils, you'd find them a lot looser than most comic books, because 90% of the work happens in this stage, in this coloring stage, where I think of it as like sculpting the form with light and trying to find the image in the kind of chaos. And yeah, like I say, I have a really good friend, Ben Stenbeck, who is an incredible comic creator, works with Mike Mignola. He just released a book called Our Bones Dust.
Yes. I'm
so much
with that name, bro. Look at you dropping names. Do I need to get a broom? What's going on here?
So much of his work is in the pencils, right? Because you'll see his line work, it's meticulous. And so there's more of a planning there. But for me, I crank out pencils real fast because I always know I'm going to change them. In fact, I leave myself little notes, like I'll scale that bit up, move that around, change the composition, yeah. But anyway, they're very organic like that, and they just flow out of, to me, this is the process that I love doing. It's just living in the illustration as I'm making it. I spend the same amount of time and energy and focus on making a panel like that, a page like that, as I would doing concept art for a movie or doing a painting for myself or something like that.
I mean, look at this page right here. That's slamming. And talk about who is this person on the page right here?
So this is one path. And this is who the story starts with and revolves around. She is the central person in the story. She's one of the up-and-coming leaders of her tribe. And this is her at the start of that journey. And the story also involves her sister, Una, and some of the other tribal leaders and characters. And then, like I said, they live in a weird environment. So one of the other main characters is called River Deep, and she's a wet mother, which is basically a person that nurses the children, because the women can't all nurse the children because there's only women. So in fact, the majority of the women are having to go out and hunt, right, and gather.
Yeah. They're like lionesses.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so they have their own pride, if you will. They're all lionesses doing their thing. God knows what. But this is something interesting. A potential future leader. So are they born into these type of roles, or is that something we learn within that as well?
Yeah, a little bit. So this is all sort of backstory that is kind of in the you'll see it in the book, but it's not explicit. It's more kind of in the background. It's part of the world building, but I can explain part of it, which is that you'll see how they get children. I won't tell you how, but because that's to be discovered in the story.
We need the book for that, man. We need the book for that. I'm curious already. You already got me sold on that motherfucker right now.
They have to go and get their children, but no one gives the child a name, right? The children just get called runtlings, right? That's what they're called. Runtlings. Runtlings. Oh, wow. And you meet one of the runtlings, right? This really precocious young runtling who basically won't listen to what anyone says, who just wants to get in the thick of it, right? And runtlings are usually just kept aside. They're raised by the wet mothers and nursed by them, but they don't bother giving them a name, because what's bother giving you a name if you're not going to be here in a month, right?
Holy shit! Damn, that's awful.
Right? Because I'm trying to portray how brutal this reality is. Right? Most of them are not making it. The vast majority of them are not making it. Right? And so you get a name when you come of age, and it's not a specific date. Like, we have ceremonies when you reach a certain age, you have a certain ceremony depending on your culture. But in this world, it's once you've done something significant enough for the tribe, you get a name, and that name is basically based on what you've done. So one path, her name is to do with her nature. She's on one path. She's this dogmatic, focused, relentless person.
Interesting.
For instance,
I dig that. I dig the concept a lot, yo. And talk about this page. What is she doing here? Is that part of her path, if you will?
This is again at the start of the book where they've gone on a hunt to take down a triceratops. They single out an older triceratops, just like you would, like a pack of lions would single out the weakest animal, separate it from the herd, because you don't want to fight. Why fight the biggest animal? You want to fight the weakest and the smallest animal. And so that's what they do.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to fight the one that's hungry.
Yeah. So they single out a triceratops, and then after this is actually at the moment where they've taken it down, but then the T-Rexes turn up to take their toll, to take it back. Right, just like this is more. And in fact, in this situation, they are more like the hyenas that what's a good way to think of it as like the cheetah that took out a gazelle. But now the hyenas turn up, or now the lions turn up and say, "Okay, you're out of here."
Yeah, right? Get out of here. That's my shit now. Thank you for doing the hard work, homie.
Exactly.
I get you. Yeah, that's some grimy shit, yo. That feels like you live in the streets of New York in the 90s. Yo, all right, homie. Give me your shit. Get out before you get, something happen. Yeah, I get it. I mean, and look, and there you go. Look at the scene. Yo, man, that's the look exactly that we would give those people. Like you.
Yeah.
Again, it was dangerous back in the day. They were strapped, and even though they're strapped, no matter how much they are, look at the size of that beast versus them. It's like it must be difficult to take down a beast of that size.
Oh, dude. Well, that's one of the things I wanted to explore in the comic, and so a big chunk of the start after this is the idea of what does it take to hunt down a beast that big, right? It's not like throw a spear and like it dies, right?
No, it's on a toothpick, bro.
Yeah, exactly. This is like you got to put in some work.
Yeah, bro.
This is
good, son.
You imagine fighting an animal that might take days to die, based on the damage you can do to it.
Well, I think about that. Fight for days, bro.
but this is like this is literally the way we used to do it, right? And it's the way a lot of animals still do it now. You cause an injury to an animal like a lion,
and you wait,
and then you just wait it out. It's going to slowly bleed out. You just follow along at a distance. It's still dangerous, and you wait for it to get weaker and weaker. I know people don't. Maybe people don't like to confront that stuff. It seems brutal and grim, but it's the way it's done.
But it is. Like, listen, folks, this is the way it was back in the day. You're lucky we have butchers and the way society is set up, because we don't have to do it ourselves. We have gotten weak humans.
Thankfully, and hopefully, and long may it continue that we come up with better and better ideas to make us softer.
So. But hey, man, apparently there's an alien ship on the way, so who knows, man? Project Bluebeam in full effect coming, folks. You better stay tuned.
I can't wait to read their internet. We think ours is crazy.
Who nicks 6G? We about to go like on some crazy like 100G level, son. You crazy? I can't wait. I only play. But look at this. This page too. Like I said, it does. I think you really portrayed the scene here so well of like mother effer without saying one word.
Mm-hmm.
It shows so well, like fuck.
It's all about to kick off at that point.
Yeah, and then you go here, man, and look at this panel work, bro. I mean, did you have any guidance in this panel work, or is it just you? Like, how do you build your panels for you to tell the story that you want to tell?
Mm-hmm. Well, I should jump back a level to the writing. So the way the writing worked, and I think maybe last time I was on, did I have Andy? Or I think I had Andy with me. Andy Lanning is my co-author.
I think Andy was on.
Yeah. And so the way it would work for me is I wrote the first book during COVID. I'd be sitting right here. I'd get up in the morning. I had a whole bunch of ideas. I'd drawn little moments, little vignettes, illustrations. And then I'd get on the phone to my friend Nick in the morning, Nick Boshier, and we'd talk about some of these ideas and write a bunch. And then we would write back into this one document. And at night, Andy's in the UK. I'm in New Zealand. Nick's in Australia. So we're all separated by massive time zones. At nighttime, I get on the phone with Andy and talk about these ideas, and then aggregate them all over the course of a couple months. Just all these ideas came together and distilled them. And then I basically went away and took all those ideas. The original thought actually was, let's just make a couple of comics, right? These little moments, little vignettes. And I'm like, no, I think we should stitch all these vignettes into this one story.
Nice.
And so I ended up pulling it all together, writing it into one massive screed, which like I say, is this aggregate of all these conversations that me and Andy and Nick had. And then Andy did the brilliant thing for me, which he still does, which is break it all out into a comic structure, which is page 1, panel 1, page 1, panel
Nice.
2, right?
Okay.
Because the way I write is a series of moments, which are unto themselves panels. Basically, each one is a panel or a beat or a shot. I think kind of filmically. But,
and in your head, it's a panel, but when you look at a writer, like he goes, nah, nah.
Yeah, and he'll block it out for me and tell me this one needs to be a splash, this one is a double page spread, this one, and so a lot of that structure comes from Andy, which is fantastic because he's been making comics forever and is a genius at it. So that streamlines things for me massively. And then I've got the blueprint, right, the script, and I can sit down and start illustrating. But I would be honest and say that is like an 80% starting point. Like as I'll go through it, I'll go like, you know what? Those 2 panels, that can all happen in one moment. Or actually, I need an extra beat here. Then it has to be another panel. And so I'll follow that structure, if you like, 80%, but then change it on the fly as it makes sense.
So let me ask you here then, talking and staying on this artistic narrative, right? Was there maybe one panel or sequence in one pass that absolutely whooped your behind during the creation?
Oh, dude, probably many. I have the story.
He said many.
Many, man. Making art is this. It's either pure flow state, which is start making it and everything falls away, and it's almost like you're unconscious and you're just in the moment creating the art. And it's like you wake up on the other side and the art's finished. That is the perfect. It's like surfing or something, right? You're in this moment, and that's what you're searching for. But at the same time as it's like that, it's also a fight and a struggle, right? And so you've got to, and that sounds like it's counterintuitive, but it's like you're fighting the wave, say in this metaphor, right? You're fighting to stay on the board. Nature is trying to pull you back into the water, and you're trying to ride. You're trying to stay in that moment. So it is struggle the whole time, and it can be this, and it can be like the most self-defeating struggle, but it's up to you to beat that. Beat the forces that are trying to reckon with you. And so, yeah, man, and for me, I don't use reference very often. When I learn to draw something, I use reference. I go away and, learn how to draw something, but I'm long past that part of my life. Now, when I go to draw any page, I just look at the page. I'm only looking at the white page and then pencils and then illustration. I'm trying to stay in it because that's the joy of it. That's the surfing. You can't surf by looking over at the other surfer and figure out what they're doing. You'll fall off the board, right? And so for me, it's about staying in that moment. That's all background to the fact that staying on the board is pure struggle. So some of the illustrations felt like that was easy and it just happened. Like the universe just said yes. And like, here's the illustration came out and it's magical. Other times it's like, constantly fighting, and I'm like, why are you so useless? Why can you not do this face? Why, and that can be relentless, but all you can do is just keep on going, keep on coming at it from. I have this other metaphor which I work professionally sometimes doing film design and stuff like that, and if an illustration wasn't working, I had this metaphor of like, take the illustration out the back and beat the shit out of it and then rebuild it. I'm gonna destroy the illustration that's defeating me to rebuild it from the ashes, because it's like you can get into the details.
Publicly?
What's that?
Did you do this in public? Did your neighbors ever see you beating up a piece of paper and be like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?"
It's a metaphor. I don't actually punch my screen.
Okay. But you're going outside. Okay.
When you're struggling with it, right? Like it's quite often that you've gone into the details, and this can be true of writing or of music, or where you get a bit micro focused and you're going around in these little loops. And when that happens and it's not working, it's because you're in these little micro loops, right? And so what you actually need to do is step right back. And then when you step back, what's challenging, because you've been in these little loops, each one of these little loops is work you've done, and you don't want to wreck it because but if the illustration is not working, you got to wreck it. So that's where I come in and smash it. And by smash it, I mean, I might massively crush the levels. I might grab a paintbrush and just drag it over. I might smash some texture into it. I'll do something destructive to the image to force myself to let go of all the little details, all the little micro loops, and think big again. And that usually helps me.
Okay.
So man, there's a bunch. I could probably point out pages where I struggle, but I don't want to point out the ones where I struggle, because I'll probably be reminded of the pain, because it is pain.
No, it is. And anytime you work on something, I get it, especially when you're trying to be a perfectionist and you want to put the best product out there. I mean, unfortunately, the artist is the most hardest critic on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
No one's going to be harder on you than you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like you could take everybody else's shit, but you can't take your own shit.
Yeah, you
You know?
got to be happy with what you do with yourself, and it's not necessarily the end product. It's the effort. You got to be happy with that. You put everything into it that you could,
Yeah,
that you did
absolutely.
everything possible, because the end product is just going to be what it is. Like but you have got to know that you did your damnedest, right, to try and solve the problems.
And the way that you did this book, that shit is beautiful, boy. So
Thanks, man.
you definitely did something gorgeous here that people will be spending their money on. I definitely know they will. Now,
Thanks,
with
man.
all this, I want people to sit down when they pick up this book, right? If there was a soundtrack they could listen to while perusing this full book, what would you suggest they listen to?
Well, actually, maybe I've got it here. I'll copy and
my man made a playlist, bro. Come on,
that's
now.
Right. That's right.
Give me that
playlist
playlist in our chat, and I'll make sure I share that right now for people to have this, an incentive for them to listen, folks. Folks, you buy this book and you listen to this, you're gonna be on a journey.
Let me see. I think I've got it here. How do I grab a link to it?
Oh, please, bro. That would be amazing.
Download. How do you share it?
Playlist.
Just trying to figure out how you actually share this. So I've got the playlist is on. Oh, here we go. It's on Google Music. I'll copy and paste it into the thread. Where do I paste it? Is it at comments?
Give it to our private chat if you want, and I'll fix it up and throw it in comments, right? But
there you go. It's on YouTube Music. Maybe someone at some point can make a Spotify playlist, because I know a lot more people use Spotify, but I use YouTube Music. But this playlist is basically a list of the music that I literally listened to while I was making the book. It's not a soundtrack in the sense that I sat down and looked at the book and decided these are the songs that go in various moments. It's not that at all. It's when I'm making the book, especially doing the pencils, I can't listen to podcasts or listen to people talking. I have to listen to music because it's a very thinky front brain. That when you're rationalizing a story, I need to listen to music. No, I can't listen to people talking. And so this music is the music that basically formed that soundtrack to like that creative part of creating the book. And then even while I was actually fully illustrating it, this music was just happening in the background. And so it perfectly emotionally fits the book, I think. And I've done one for each book too. So there'll be another playlist for book 2, another playlist for book 3.
See, I made it a little shortener right there with an hour.
Oh, there you go.
So it's short, but I'm also going to add it into the notes right there, folks. I'm also going to add it into the comments. So check it out. Check out this dope little playlist right here that you guys will definitely be enjoying. Check out the playlist. Look, folks. I'm sharing with the community, baby. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
If y'all watching, there it goes right there. Check it out. I'm excited. Listen, anytime you incorporate music with something, man, I love it. I'm a fan of that because I want you to take me on that journey. I want that full immersion because I think comic books, again, the way that you guys are drawing nowadays feels so much more cinematic than it did back in the day. Back in the day, we had 8 squares per page and all. Yeah, it's telling a story, but now you guys, with the broad brush, with the broad pages, the wide angles, it feels like a fucking movie. So to have that nice little undertone of music behind it kind of helps you in your reading pace, if you will. And makes the experience so much better.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and it does emotionally fit with it because it feels exactly to me like what it felt like to make the book. And making a piece of art like this, it is art to me, is living in an emotional moment as I'm making each panel, as I'm making the story, and I'm listening to music. It's all part of a feeling, right? And so it definitely all comes together. When I look through the book again and listen to the music, it all congeals together really nicely.
That's fantastic. Now, let's dream for a moment, if you will. Right? Who would play your lead characters in One Path One live action?
Oh man, I got asked a similar thing the other day about voice acting, and I actually don't know. I've never stopped to think about that. I don't. Back in the day, I made this book called a series of books called Dr. Grordbort's, and there I did spend a bit of time thinking about who would play Lord Coxswain, who's the main character in that.
Yeah.
But in the case of One Path, I've never stopped to think about it. I've been so obsessed by making the book that I've never thought too much about, film, animation, anything like that. Who would be good? I know that it would have to be someone with severe massive physicality. So the people I think of are not actors. Maybe you could come up with some good ones, but I think of like UFC fighters. I think of like Amanda Nunes or something, you know, like she's quite small, so she probably wouldn't be right for one.
We gotta get okay. Let's bring all those WWE women. You gotta bring this idea.
Oh yeah,
I think bring this to Vince. You know, don't let him play you. You know, I think he. Yeah, this is for the women of wrestling right here, type of joint. I hear you now. I mean, do they have acting chops? I mean, not all of them do. Hopefully, there is a star amongst them that can shine to take the lead. But I think if you follow the wrestling narrative, the MMA narrative, bro? This probably would be an insane.
Whoever plays it, it's got to have serious prosthetics because they're all scarred up. You know, like if you look through the books, you'll see every page. They're like covered in cuts and scars because that's their life, right?
You said if they survive, so imagine when they give you a name. I mean, that's already fucked up right there. Like, you know what, kiddo? I'm gonna call you number one until you survive. All right, give it a couple of years. All right, you mother effer. But that's crazy. But I also kind of really like that. Like, yo, you like. Once you earn your name, you're like, no one can take that from you. You feel me? Like, I see that honor and name there, though. It's like, I earned this through my life, through my sacrifice.
Yeah. It's like the citizenship thing of like, you're that part of it is an emotional distancing. The tribe don't really want to get attached to you, right? That's the empathy for the tribe. The tribe don't want to care about you too much if you're going to be gone, if you're going to starve to death or be eaten by a raptor or something, right? But the other part is like for the runtlings, it's like to be taken seriously, to be given an individual name, to become a person, not just a thing that might die. You've got to do something. You've got to contribute, right? And so it's brutal, right? That's a brutal world. I'm glad we don't live in that world in a way, but that's it. It's like you got to step up to get a name. And from their point and from the tribe's point of view, it's like we're just not going to invest emotionally in you until you've done something significant. Yeah, it's rough, man.
It is absolutely rough. Fuck yeah, bro. So before we wrap up, I gotta ask you something here. Because this is a tribe, right? So which character in One Path itself surprised you the most as they were being written and developed? You know, and maybe who evolved beyond the original vision?
That's a good question. I'd say it probably is One Path, although. That's not all realized in the first book. There's going to be 4 books altogether, and One Path goes on a heck of a journey during all of that. So it is her at the end of the day. She starts out one way, and then she's not like none of the characters are the classic hero. I don't think I've ever written a kind of classic hero story. It's either an anti-hero or someone just more complex. And she is definitely more complex. She's making the choices that work, that seem right to her for very, good reasons to her in the moment, but they are not always the right choices, right? And so there are things that she does later on in the story that are shocking. That was shocking to me. That sounds weird, right? Because I'm the author. How did that shock me? But
my God, I can't believe I wrote that. Right?
But it's true. I know maybe you don't have too long to get into this, but writing is a bit like illustrating. The way I write is I don't write like what's the right way to put this? Some stories. This is going to seem. I apologize if the words seem wrong. But some stories are written like fairy tales or propaganda. And I mean those not entirely pejoratively. They're written where there's an end point. The author is trying to tell you has an end point in mind. What is the moral of this story? Right? Because people that used to say that all the time, what's the moral of the story? Right? And the hero's journey is about that. It's about an arc when a character starts in one place, goes low, meets wisdom, and then transcends their problem to go on, right? And that's actually, I love that. My favorite movie as a kid, Star Wars, and still to this day, is written like that. But that's a fairy tale, and that in a pejorative, not in the pejorative sense, but it's sort of propaganda. It's saying here's a way to be, and I love that. That's many of my favorite movies are like that. But this is not that. This is, I put the character in a problem space, if you like, and then they start reacting to the situations, right? And I'm always with them. all I'm doing is feeling the fork in the road for them of which way they would go, which way feels right. And which way feels right is based on, can I see more forks going off in the future? What would that get them? What situations would that get them into afterwards? And I can only think so far ahead, but it's almost like I'm running with them. And so the characters end up doing very surprising things, and the story ends up doing surprising things because I'm staying in that moment, wondering where it will go. So I'm honestly always surprised and shocked at things in the story because your subconscious comes up with them and you end up choosing them because they feel right, they feel powerful, they feel interesting, right? They resonate with you. But that's not, those choices are not necessarily leading you to this fairy tale end. They are leading you wherever feels most emotionally powerful. And so that's the way this book is written. That's why things happen in the book that I'm shocked by and that I don't like reliving. Like, right, there's parts of the book that feel painful, emotionally painful to me. But because they came out that way. It's like this. It's a much different way of writing, I think, and illustrating. Yeah. I think a lot of other people do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm unique, but it's very different from the way you architect most stories. All the ways I've heard. If you go out and you listen to people talk about the way you write a modern film or anything like that, it's not written like that. It's written in this fairy tale way where you have an end point. And I realized this when a friend of mine came to me and said, who they didn't put it in these words, but they basically said, who's going to win? Is it going to be one path or this other character, right? And I was literally thought, I have no idea. I don't know who's going to win. Like, I'm going to find out. Like, I don't know, right? That shows you like the different writing mindset. One is like, I know who's going to win because I've got a moral to tell you, I've got a story to tell you, and I want it to end up this way. Whereas I am like in the moment and I'm not actually sure who's going to come out on top, if there is a top.
All right, see, so let's talk about being in that moment then. So it has challenged you creatively. What did you discover about yourself though in the process then?
Oh, dude. Now we need alcohol to help with this conversation. Because it is, in a way, it's not biographical or anything like that, but writing that way is bearing your soul, right? It is opening yourself up because it's like you're listening to whatever your emotions are telling you and putting those out there. And the most powerful is the most honest. So what did I learn about myself, man? I don't know. You probably have to come back to me in 10 years. It's just like writing a diary and then putting it out in the world. Maybe it's like
in 10 years when my top finally matches my beard, great. Yeah, and yours probably starts like mine, great. There we go. All right, but I definitely will. But listen, you're gonna have a long ass career in front of you because this book is madness. It looks great and it's Mad Cave Studios, baby. So when is this baby dropping? For people to go ahead and read it and put on their shelf.
You can go out and get it right now. It just released recently, so it should be out in bookstores and comic stores right now. And yeah, man, please go and grab it.
You better go. So what's up, bro? It's still con season, man. Are you doing anything for the rest of the year? Any conventions?
I'm in New Zealand, and so it's a long way to any conventions. I think the most significant ones are in the US, and I just missed out on Comic-Con because I had to focus on making the book. I would love to come to Comic-Con next year. We'll see. Book 2 will be out by next year, so maybe I can.
Make sure it's out right before or at the time of the SD. Timing for the SD. That way they have to bring you.
Yeah, man. Well, I would love to make it there. But otherwise, actually, you know what? I probably won't be at many cons because I'm in New Zealand. I'm far away from anything. And I am fully dedicated to making the book. Like, man, my weeks are just, I'm like a machine making those books and I love it. I know though I got to get out there and promote it. I should be a good boy, but that's why I'm talking to legends like you. So
yeah, there we go. You know, man, you're the one that makes me a legend. But I got to ask though. So here you are, you're working like a madman. Are you ignoring those guitars behind you then as you work?
Not today. It's Saturday here in New Zealand. So I'll be, yeah, man.
Oh, my man gonna be Jack. Oh, that's a beauty right there. Look
that's a bass guitar. That one. That's it's actually like a Hofner style Beatles bass, but I've decked it out with
I have a bass in the living room. That's what I'm learning how to play. So you know,
bass is a great way to start. It's 4 strings, easier.
Yeah, bro, easy peasy. Let me get into because my brother plays a regular guitar, electric. He's a monster, and my baby brother could play an acoustic guitar. Okay, he's learning as well. But I mean, but he's definitely way better than I am. But you don't put me in front of a beat machine though, because I'll fuck everybody up. So that's so that's what we're doing here. I dig it. All right, bro. So lastly, of course, the most typical question based on the journey thus far, what advice would you give your younger self starting out in comics and visual storytelling?
Oh man, that's a good question. I tell you, I would probably just tell myself to, like some of the things we've been talking about, getting out of your own way. That's what we're talking about with alcohol, being a reducer of inhibitions. Everything's about that with making art. There's usually some voice in the back of your head saying, is this the right thing? Is it good enough? Could it be better? And those things will stop you and slow you down. To anyone young, just make something and put it out there. And then you're going to be judged. It will never be as good as you want it to be. It'll only be as good as you are in that moment, but that will be true for the rest of your life, right? I'm a professional that's worked on a million amazing projects. I've made my own video games. I've published a million things. But I still am my own biggest critic. It's still never quite good enough, right? And if it was good enough, you would have mastered something and it would be boring and you want to move on to the next thing, right? So I would tell myself, like, just to put my work out there no matter what, because I did, I made some comics back when I was young and never showed them to anyone, or maybe showed them to a couple friends, and they even printed them and took them to a comic convention and then didn't have the guts to show anyone. They were weird. They were very weird. Like, they were very strange and surreal. Probably got some of the same elements that One Path has in it. But for whatever reason, I was ashamed. But when I look back at the work, I'm like, damn, that's good work for you, for that age, for that time. All right. And so that's what I would tell myself, just put it out there no matter what. Yeah.
There we go. You hear this, folks? He would tell himself that, which means that he would tell you guys the same thing. Get that work out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. You guys got it. The industry may be hard, but screw what anyone says, man. Just follow your path. Hey, unintended here, baby. Let's go. Because right now, what you got to do, you want to learn what my man is doing, get that One Path. Matt Cave Studios at John is out right now. Read through it. It's beauty. It's a beautiful book, and it's also some great self-porn. Break that baby up again. You have that book next to you. Show the fans again how sexy that book is. I mean, that is some self-porn if I ain't saying. Look at those colors on there. Let me see that spine. Let me see the spine on that baby. Oh, look at it. See, that's gonna look sexy on yourself, folks. Epa. That's what we're doing, bro.
Got some nice quotes on the back there. I got a lovely quote from Neil Stevenson. I don't know if you know Neil. Neil Stevenson is the author of Snow Crash, amongst other things, many incredible books, and he's a friend. And he wrote a beautiful quote for me. I also got quotes from Richard Taylor, who's the guy who started Weta Workshop, along with Peter Jackson and Tanya Roger. And also a lovely quote from Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9, who's a mate, and Dave Gibbons, creator of Watchmen.
Oh my gosh, really? Let me get my broom, man. You dropped so many names right now. What is going on here, boy? They're showing that love, Greg, because you're murdering it. So salute to you once again. Thank you for coming. And just chatting about what you've been up to, especially with this fantastic book that's out now by Matt Cave Studios, man, through you, Andy, Nick, murdering the game, bro. I'm excited. And go check out that Primal John for real, bro.
I probably had a good place to start watching it now, and I know I'm gonna like it. So
yeah, because again, you're bringing me back to that in the sense, like, yo, man, yo, Mr. G, you gotta talk to my man here. I think you guys could make something work here in the whole world. The reason why I said they could be part of that world too, man. Like, yo, work something. Let's go. It's like fuck, man. I want to see people just collaborate and make that paper, bro. You know what I mean? Because so many things connect. Like I always tell people, like I always thought Terminator Matrix mixed. Like that's the perfect blend. Like what a perfect like blend, like the story. Yeah, Terminator take over, eventually returns to the Matrix. That's really what happens. You know what I mean? We're all dead already. I mean, come on, man. Stories, love it. Anyway. With that, my man Greg, you are a boss, and mi gente, you want to follow the boss, what you do? You go to Instagram or Facebook, you go to Greg _, not the word, the symbol of Broadmore, all right? And also then on X, you made it very easy. That's his name, Greg Broadmore. Boom. All right. Easy peasy. Of course, follow Mad Cave Studios and Mad Cave Studios just about everywhere on social media. Visit madcavestudios.com for the website. can check out the book there. I mean, a big shout out to Mel from the Don't Hide PR, y'all. That's for the hook, I appreciate you. I mean, and for everybody tuning in right here, all you Crusaders, y'all should be asking questions. You got good program. Everybody be shy, and just tunes in. Say away, say hello. Don't be shy, my Crusaders. What we need over here, we need some engagement, baby. But I see y'all watching, and I appreciate the heck out of y'all. Now, again, it's a fantastic weekend on the road to episode 600, baby. Wow, I can't believe it, man. I'm so close now. Thanks, Greg, for coming on and being one of those many guests that have come on. I really do appreciate your time, and again, you sharing your wisdom and knowledge, processes, and all with our fans. God knows how many people you may have encouraged. Just today alone. You know what I mean?
Oh, very cool. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for giving me a platform. I really appreciate it. Love it. Yeah.
And there we go.
Very cool.
Mi gente, that's what it is. It's the Comic Crusaders. Hasta la próxima. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.